Namaskar, dear seekers, and good evening, and or maybe some of you may be joining also from different part of the world. So, good morning, good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to our live stream sessions. And today is Wednesday, so it is our series of question answers. And the topic today is how to deal with loneliness and isolation. So, of course, we will share some points, and of course, after we will take your questions. You can share on the chat on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We have seekers who are there to some who will like moderating your questions or your comments. And of course, after that, we will take your question and share your some answers with you so we can communicate. So first, I would like to introduce myself in short. My name is Syriac. I'm doing spiritual practice for more than 20 years, and I live in India for more than 10 years in an ashram where I did full-time spiritual practice. And now for the past almost 2 years, I'm traveling around Europe, and we are traveling with a caravan. Now we are presently in Germany. We are in the center of Germany in the region of Arts regions. And this is where we actually hold the live stream from the caravan itself. And about SSRF, SSRF is the acronym of the Spiritual Science Research Foundation, and it was founded in 2006 with the blessing of His Holiness Dr. Attavali, that is a saint from India. And SSRF has two main objectives. One objective is to explain about the spiritual dimension, how it can affect us positively and negatively. And for that, we have a lot of articles, more than 700 articles in our English homepage, and is also translated in more than 24 languages. And in conjunction also with the University of Spirituality, the founder is His Holiness Dr. Attavali also. And we actually published a lot of research using biofeedback device to show also how just using aura scanners, we are actually able to see how things we do can affect us negatively or positively. And all this also research are published also free of charge on the website. So of course I invite you to read our website, and you can always ask questions. We have this live chat facility where we have seeker around the clock, different time zones. We can answer your questions. Before we start also our live stream tonight, what we do usually is just for 2 minutes we will meditate, either meditate or some of you if you are familiar with chanting, just to for the mind to become calm, and then we will start the live stream. We will play a divine name in low tone in background, so you can close your eyes and you can either meditate. Some of you, if you are chanting, you can chant, or some of you, if you don't know, you can just focus on your own breath. So you can close eyes now. We'll do that for 2 minutes, and then we will start our live stream.
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Okay, dear seekers, you can open your eyes. So we will start now with our live stream. And some of you, maybe you are joining us. So today's topic is our series of question answers. So we will actually share a topic, and of course after that you can ask your questions or your comments. And the topic today is how to deal with loneliness and isolations. So just about loneliness, it is, as some of you may be knowing, it is an unpleasant emotional response to perceive situations, and even sometimes we may be around others, but we may be experiencing loneliness in our own mind. So I don't know if some of you may have experienced something like that. You can feel free that anytime you want to share any point, any questions, or any comments that you had in regards to this topic, feel free to start even writing now on our chat, because after some time we will address them. And especially today, no, because it is more common now, and it has even increased because of the COVID, the pandemic. So many people have faced more or even have complained that they're actually experiencing more loneliness and isolation. And in this session, we will of course address your feeling of loneliness, or if some of you may have experienced loneliness also in your spiritual journey, sometimes not being understood about your spiritual interests. We will also suggest some solutions in regards to the loneliness as per, of course, your particular situations. So I don't know if some of you, about when we speak about loneliness due to spiritual factors, so I think if some of you may have experienced sometimes unable to discuss about spirituality or spiritual topic, or even what you may experience or perceive, and not able to express to others because you feel others are not able to understand you, or what they will say if you start sharing some different aspect or different point of something you have experienced or something you feel that may be different. And because of that also you may feel bored to speak in a non-spiritual topic because of the different interests that you may have. Or also sometimes can happen that some people make fun about spirituality or spiritual topic, so you feel to whom to talk to. But just as a solution, actually when there is something, when we have some different feelings or different attractions or interests, we actually mind with the same type of individual. So similarly here is, if we have spiritual inclinations, then at that time we can meet or speak with somebody who is also spiritually inclined, or who is also trying to speak to practice spirituality, or who is interested about spirituality. So sometimes you may say, then how to find such person, how to be in contact with such person. This is one of the reasons also that in SSRF we made this platform online, where live stream in one aspect, but especially also we have a group of meeting online, and we have more than 50 online meeting every single week. It is in English and other languages in different time zones. And it is now most of our meeting are on Google Meet. So of course then you can meet seekers. So we have, of course, some seekers who practice spirituality for many years, and then you can speak with different seekers. Seeker is someone who practice spirituality, who have desire to grow spiritually. So at the time in this type of meeting online, what we call also satsang, you can also share your experience, your obstacles, and of course listening to other seekers, you learn about spirituality, and of course some aspect of how to put into practice, so that in a way help us, because usually also I have seen by traveling around, I have met different seekers from different paths as well, and what they say, they often feel that they are alone in their spiritual journey, or how to get guidance, or how to be with someone who like to practice spirituality. If some of you experience something like that, feel free to share on the live chat, or if you have any questions about this also. About experiencing loneliness, it can be also sometimes due to psychological reason. So actually, if let's say a person is experiencing insecurity or inferiority, at that time the person will not express their thoughts, no? Then they will feel lonely in the mind, or they will not interact with others, or less with others. Or the person have depressions, or also negative thinking. So that also will prevent the person to interact or communicate with others. So from that angle, see, we can't change the situations, but we need to see how we can change ourselves, how we can overcome those traits of personality, such as insecurity, inferiority. We also had recently a live stream of low self-confidence, or how to become more confident also. And because we don't learn now in school, in colleges, we learn mathematics, we learn history, we learn a language, but we don't learn how to overcome insecurity. We don't learn how to overcome a negative thinking. And actually, there are some simple tools, and in SSRF also, the founder of SSRF and the University of Spirituality have developed this process of how to overcome defect of personality. And this is a actually quite simple process, but of course it needs some time, and how to especially put it into practice, to analyze, to understand our trait of personality. And there is some autosuggestion techniques that are there to help us to change our incorrect, we can say, behavior, or our negative trait, we can say. So in a way, I will give you some different type of autosuggestions. So just one example, if the person feel insecure or inferior, so they will be like, whenever I feel insecure to speak with someone, I will realize that by working on myself, I can become confident. Or we can say, whenever I feel insecure, I realize that God is with me, and then I will become more confident and speak with others. So it is something that we repeat and create a positive impression in our subconscious mind. It is different than affirmation. If some of you know about affirmation, we also had a topic to explain the difference between affirmations as well as autosuggestion, because affirmation is just a sentence that helps to just nullify, or we can say contain, an emotion or a situations. And the autosuggestion is more tailor-made, specific to your mind, and helps to, in a way, go deeper to, in a way, a particular situation that actually block us. Or there is a general, more, we can say, type of autosuggestions. It can be like, whenever I feel lonely, I will become aware of it. I will remember that God is close to me. So I will feel reassured, and I will start to chant. So in a way, with this type of technique, it helps us to become more confident. Or whenever I start having negative thinking of speaking to someone, I will become aware of it. I will pray, remain calm, and speak to the person. So something like that, by repetitions, it helps us to overcome actually the different trait of personality. And the moment we start, the insecurity become less within us, then automatically we will experience a completely different type of situations. We will be able to speak to others. We will enjoy speaking with others. We will experience and enjoy the situations. So it is very much possible to change ourselves. And some, because maybe experiencing loneliness due to some physical reason, so it can be just the fact of being isolated. And some, depending on their particular situations, maybe having no friends or not good relationship at home, then to whom to talk to. So this is something sometimes we cannot change, such type of situations. And of course, for everyone, the situation will be different and it will be in a way specific. But if we learn and understand that maybe facing such type of situations can be because of destiny or karma, then maybe it will help us in my particular situations to accept it. And if we learn more about spiritual concept, it helps us also to give more philosophical approach of life, or it helps us to change also our attitude towards life. So that's why we also suggest, because see, sometimes we have only an understanding, but when we start learning much more about spirituality, then we start understanding or see things in a different view. And automatically, when our perceptions of mind change, then we may be able to feel more happy. Then automatically we don't feel lonely anymore. So just now, about the point I shared now about experiencing loneliness because of some spiritual factors, or it can be because of psychological factors such as different negative trait of personality within us, or because of a particular situations that we have, because of destiny. If you want, you can, I will give you a minute or so, or a little bit more also, if you want to write your situations about it, or if you have any questions about how to overcome a particular situations, or about, or this, especially this aspect, like if you are interested in spirituality, these obstacles that sometimes whom to talk to, or feeling lonely in your way of thinking, because maybe you are thinking differently of what is the world today, so you feel lonely with, in a way, your way of thinking, especially when it is towards spirituality. So I give you now a minute or more to write on the chat. We have seekers who are there to collect your questions, comment, or if you have any experience, you can also share. and just wanted to start sharing. We are collecting like different questions, but also there are a few comments. So first I will share some comment. I think it is from Yogamaya Dasi. You said, I used to suffer from extreme loneliness before I found SSRF, and I had no friends in my town. And the longer I did spiritual practice without anyone to help me, I started chanting less and less every month. Then when I started going to SSRF satsang, it is a meeting online, I get to be with other seekers, and now I no longer feel lonely, and my spiritual practice has increased so much due to being with other seekers and getting help. Now I feel my life is rich with seeker associations, truly a gift from God. That's nice, Yogamaya Dasi, that you are feeling how much you are getting rich, spiritually rich. Huh? In worldly life, we get rich of how much money we have in the bank account, and in spirituality, we get rich of happiness or bliss. From Ahmed Subakti, you say, sometimes I need loneliness to find bliss and near to God. So actually, it is also okay. See, when we say loneliness, it's more to be alone or calmness, so that it helps us. No, so of course here it is. Sometimes if we are in a busy environment, no, then sometimes we want calmness, we want peace, so that we can actually find bliss and be near to God. Just wanted also to share one point is there are two type of personality. There is a person who are more, they like to be individuals. So for them, being alone is easier, or maybe at the physical level, but sometimes may not be at the mind level. And some likes to be with others. They are more like with society. They like to be with others. But sometimes even though they like to be with others, we may also be finding ourselves alone. From Yolanda Cosma, you said, it is a comment, I used to feel mostly isolated, but thanks God for these sessions. I am able now to accept whatever life has in store for me. Very grateful for this session because it helped me a lot. Now I understand more about acceptance and life in general. That is true, Yolanda, because in a way sometimes no, when things happen in our life, we keep asking this question, why me, and then we find difficult to let go, we find difficult to forgive also. So that's why when we learn about spiritual concept or spiritual principles, then it helps us to realize that there are some reason or why, and then we are able to let go even or to forgive. And that is very important, because if we want to go ahead spiritually, we have to go to a positive state of mind. Remaining in the past or in a negative state of mind will stop us to grow spiritually. So that's why understanding and practicing, of course, help us to go in a positive state of mind, and as well to be in present, and then we are able to make real progress. I will take some of your questions. There are a mix of questions. So there is a question from Chris Vixie. You said, do you think monks are less lonely than ordinary people? See, again, Chris, this is to understand there is loneliness at physical level. So the way they say they are isolated. But if they are practicing spirituality and they are in connection with God or in communion with God, at that time by mind, they are not lonely. See, ultimately, as I share now, we may be among others in a family, but in our mind we feel lonely, because either we cannot interact with others or we don't have that deep connection with God. So actually we will feel lonely. So physical loneliness is less harmful than actually mental, we can say, to be isolated or mentally feeling this aspect. And especially, see, when we practice spirituality, no, actually we say many times we feel I'm alone or I'm with others, but actually, because even though we may be in with others, or we may be in a relationship, because actually sometimes we feel we don't want to be alone. Some want to be in a relationship because they fear to be alone. But when we actually develop this connection with God or this communication with God, then that feeling of connection to God or that loneliness is not there. So that's why maybe somebody where is a monk or, no, or not a monk, they actually, monk will not, they may be more happy or less lonely than a person that may be among many. From Bharat Jain, when I chant, I feel relaxed even if I'm alone. But when I stop chanting, I feel lonely. And that's a nice experience, Bharat Jain, see, because when we chant now, we repeat God, name of God, and there, of course, this principle of name, form, and energy coexist. So actually, we attract now this divine principle within us, and at that time, we may not feel lonely because we experience now this presence. Many seekers, when they start chanting, they start experiencing God's presence. Then they feel relaxed, calm. They feel reassured. Because see, when we, let's say you say you don't chant, at that time our mind wander, no? And the mind may take us in the past or the futures. And then we may start feeling, either we remember past impression, past situation, and then we may feel lonely. That's why chanting is a very easily tool that can be done anywhere, anytime. From Alexander, you said one question is how can we do full-time spiritual practice without isolations? See, actually, again, Alexander here sometimes to do full-time spiritual practice. Sometimes it is easier when we are with seekers who practice spirituality because ultimately, initially, we may need no motivations. We get help from others. After, of course, when we grow spiritually, there are many seekers who are doing full-time spiritual practice and they are isolated now in their different country or at home. Because it is possible remaining in contact online with some seekers, doing some different satseva, service to God. So like that we remain in contact. So it is possible to practice or to do full-time spiritual practice even if we are alone. But of course when we are with others, it is easier to practice spirituality. You say, I faced some bad destiny, bad karma, as I moved from Germany to Luxembourg, where I feel since 15-year loneliness and isolation. How to deal with that? Alexander, you can be share, no? That understanding that what you are facing is destiny, so accept the situations. After, of course, we can see if there is something in my capacity to do to change the physical situations. But if we cannot change my physical situations, then you can take this auto-suggestion technique, no, to calm the mind, because ultimately God is everywhere. So if say you are in Luxembourg, God is in Luxembourg also. But by practicing spirituality, you will be able to experience God's presence more. And then you will not feel I need to be here, I need to be in India, I need to be to Germany, or I need to be in different country, because we feel God is everywhere. From Swati, there is another question from Swati P. Sometimes feel that I could not do much in life as compared to others. I don't deserve anything in life, such thoughts come. But after joining chanting session, such thoughts are reduced. And sometimes I feel that I could not do much in life as compared to others. Sorry, it seems there is a double paste here. I will write to, I don't deserve anything in life, such thoughts come to me. Sorry, there is a apologies because we have mispaste. If it's possible to repaste again about Swati P, it is not understandable. It is twice pasted and it is not clear. Apology, we had some small technical problem. From Ashub BNL, you said I have negative energy issue since 3 years, and I had corona a month back, but still I feel depressed. I'm doing chanting daily, and yesterday was Guru birthday, so I felt relaxed, but today again I felt stress. What to do? So I should see, you said you are experiencing, so I would ask, please not to pest when reading. You say you have negative energy issue, no, for the past 3 years. So of course, it is not easy. Plus, you had corona, so it is naturally that and today, no, also negativity is much more. So experiencing more negative thoughts. But see, ultimately, is it takes some time, no, to overcome problem caused by, we can say, negative energy. And then physically you have to recuperate. So we will go through this ups and downs. Initially, when we practice spirituality, it cannot be that I will always be happy. Ultimately, see, if the person have good destiny, have always a happier and positive mind, then it is easier for them to be happy all the time, and to grow spiritually in this way is easier. But ultimately, if the person have difficult destiny, negative energy problem, then that will be like that. This is the oscillation, no, that we will be experiencing. And what happens is, when we practice spirituality, slowly, the number of thoughts in our mind will become less. Our destiny will become less. Then, as isol that oscillation, no, will be less and less, and slowly, we become stable, calm. Then we are able to feel happier in situations. I think it was a comment, no? I think from Yolanda, she shares that since she started, she's experiencing less thoughts in the mind, more calmness. So just ultimately in spirituality, now we have to keep persevering. And for negative thoughts, then we can take autosuggestions. For problem caused by negativity that affect you, then you can do different spiritual healing remedy, such as salt water, or dunyas, this specific mudra in the different chakra. And of course, see about chanting, no? You say you are doing chanting, but how many hours you are chanting every day? Ultimately, we should try to chant as much as possible during random during random activity, or whenever we can, because whenever more we chant, more we able to attract this divine energy within us. From Francisco Vasquez, we decided to start a spiritual path since then, and difficult things are happening. Among those difficult things, my partner of 10 years left me. I want to continue the spiritual, but felt very lonely. I started the spiritual path because I need it, but don't understand why so many difficult things are happening. And Francisco's, see, actually, whatever happened in our life now is because of destiny. And sometimes when relationship end, then we are hurt, no? Then we feel lonely. So of course we can't change the past, but what is more important if you want to go ahead in the future is to be able to let go of the past and working on this autosuggestion technique. Maybe it can be sometime whenever I remember how my partner ends a relationship and I feel sad, I will become aware of it. I will realize that now I can become happy. So then I will remain in present and start chanting. So like that, such type of autosuggestions can help you to be able to forget about the past, and then you will be able to go to a positive state and then be able to go ahead in the future. But ultimately, see, we can choose two things. Either we just remain seated, no, and then we complain, or we remain in our negative state of mind. Ultimately, we have to use our actions, our free will. Some fighting spirit should be there. I want to overcome it. So of course it takes some energy, no? But if we try, we can overcome it. And just to accept also that whatever has happened was because of destiny. Then we are able to let go. From Mugna Potnis, I like loneliness, as I can chant better when alone, but people, mainly my family member, want me to be social and chit-chatting. How can I handle this? Actually, Mugna, it is nice that you feel to chant more. And we had different seekers, actually, we experienced similar to you, that sometimes they want to chant in mind. They are not interested sometimes in some different chit-chat interactions or some worldly talk. So sometimes, of course, it will depends, no, due to the our relationship. Then we may have to speak with others, but instead of indulging in it, you can change also the topic, or you can say, okay, I need to do something else. Or when the person talk with them, instead of chit chatting, we can chant in our mind. Or sometimes, so in a way, it's possible. Here we can change. We can say, oh, sorry, I would like to do something else now. But sometimes because of emotionalism, we may feel, oh, if I say like that, the person will get hurt or the person will get angry. So of course, for some it will depend, no? But we can see how slowly to tell them, see, I would like to do chanting, meditations. And when the person chit chat, you may also withdraw from the conversation, let the other speaks instead of being in that conversation. We can the others. We are maybe present physically, but my mind, we are chanting. From Yogamaya Dasi, you said, if one doesn't have many friends, sorry, just one question because we are pasting, so I can. If one doesn't have um, many friends in life, does it mean that there are not many persons born on earth at the moment that I have a karmic connection with? See, Yogamaya said it may not be like that. See, sometimes how destiny play, no? So sometimes, let's say, because we have some friends and we have a quarrel with someone. So, okay, we pay destiny. But sometimes if we have loneliness, that is also a way of karma, no? Because ultimately we experience unhappiness. And sometimes we may have destiny with negative energy affecting us. Or sometimes we may have destiny with our parents more. So it depends. So destiny can have different form. Ultimately, the end result is we experience either happiness or unhappiness. From Sunny Das, you say, recently my aunt passed away due to corona. Her son and daughter feel very lonely. They keep thinking of her and blaming why God did this to them. Her daughter, she used to chant Mahamudra mantra when my aunt was admitted. She asked me why God did not help her despite chanting for mother. Now she is like if I said chant. So actually, Sunidas is what happened. No? Everything happened again because of destiny, and sometimes so things happen automatically. But and the person feel now something happened to, I will start chanting, and I chant 1 hour, 2 hour, one day, 2 days. It's not enough to nullify the destiny. Then the things will happen, no? And then we feel, oh, I've chanted for 1 hour, I've chanted for 2 days, 3 days. God did not save her, God did not save me. But we have to realize that destiny is there within us. And until and unless we practice spirituality and we grow to a much higher level, or a sense maybe, or spiritual master guru can bless you. And at that time only destiny may be nullified. So a lot of amount of spiritual practice needs to be there for maybe some things that can be changed in the life. Well, destiny to be, we can say, reduced or removed. So often what happened, no? Why this happened to me? Then we get angry to God, no? But we have to realize that actually we created our own destiny. God didn't create destiny to us. We self-created it due to some incorrect actions that we may have done in previous birth. So we are born again in this time, and in this time is more difficult now. We are in Kali Yuga, and we also are now facing more difficult time. So now there is also individual destiny and collective destiny due to the specific period we are in. So instead of blaming God, we should realize that we have created our own self-destiny and to accept, as some have shared also, now they realize that this was destiny. Then we are able to let go, so they can take autosuggestion to feel, to overcome the grief. That is something that can be understood when somebody dies and we feel close to them. We will experience grief, no? We will experience loneliness. So at that time, we can't change the situations. But if we work to overcome this emotion within us or this sadness, then we may still miss the person, but we will be able to remain more calm, more stable. Gratitude. We repass for you, Swati, P. So that is more clear. I will share. Sometimes I feel I could not do much in life as compared to others. I don't deserve anything in life. Such thoughts come to me, and after joining chanting sessions, such thoughts have reduced. But still, okay. Not sure if it is not fully paced, because there is still not a point, but it is good that you are experiencing now, Swati, that after the joining chanting session, or you are chanting, then the number of thoughts have reduced. We have explained, and I encourage you, if for some of you don't know about chanting, you can go on our website. We explain actually the mechanism of how chanting works. And exactly what happens is when we chant, there is a thought that comes from our subconscious mind to the conscious mind, and the mind only one thought at a time. So automatically, the other thoughts are deflected. They are not able to enter. So the number of thoughts mathematically will reduce, and automatically. This is what many start experiencing. It depends. For some it is immediate, for some it takes few days, few weeks, but there is a reductions in number of thoughts. And then if we continue by practicing spirituality or chanting more, then less thoughts come in the mind. Then we are able to achieve concentrations. Then we are able to achieve some meditations. And if we start also trying to overcome defect within us, such as worry, anxiety, fear, stress, this is the one that makes the most thoughts. Actually, they create thoughts only. But actually what happens, we try to stop the thoughts, but if you try to overcome the root, let's say the fear, the anxiety, then there will be no thoughts coming. And then after that, we remain calmness. From Shruti Kulkarni, another question is, if I want to be isolated, but other people close to me get hurt because of this behavior, then how to handle? And that is why Shruti, I can understand, it's not easy. You can see how to manage. Ultimately, you can see there are two things. If sometimes it depends how the others, it will depend on the situation, of course, because it depends whether you are a household, you have to take care of someone, you have to take care of children, so you have some things that you have to do. After what happened often, where is the correct things to do when it comes also to spiritual practice? I will just give an example. So let's say, at that time, somebody say, I would like to watch a movie. Partner say, I would like to watch a movie with you. And then the person say, okay, but every day or 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And the person's, because of emotionalism, feel, oh, if I say 1 time or 2 times no, then the person will get angry. But actually, it is a lot of time, no, maybe 2 hours go, 3 hours go per day. But if we are able to say, no, I will watch maybe 1 time a week or 2 times a week, not 4, 5 times a week. At that time, the person will may feel hurt initially, but we realize also that it is important for you to chant or to practice spirituality. So of course, it depends also about the duty that we may have. If you have a partner or some children, so sometimes we have to have minimum or some interaction with them. That is normal. We cannot just isolate ourselves. So of course, it will depends on the situation, and we can study where our emotionalism come in between. As the example I've given, at some time, we don't say something because we are afraid to say. And some situations are normal, so we have to accept and to speak to or to do as per what is expected from me. But in some way, actually, it is because of the others' expectations, and from us we succumb because of our emotionalism, and we are not able to say no. Then we can work on ourselves, no, to become less emotional, and then we are able to say no. Today I would like to sit for 1 hour and meditate. I will not watch movie today. We can watch next week. This is something that we can work, and for everyone, of course. Here, I don't know your exact situations, but just to understand in general, actually, we can study where we can actually face the situation, accept the situation, and also how we can change ourselves in regards to our emotionalism. For Marima Sharma, you say, I'm struggling badly with financial problem and my husband, all business shut down. I and my family feeling so insecure. So it's a bit different question, Rima, but I will just share. See, in today's time now, everything is more difficult. Whatever happened to us is because of destiny. Time also are going to be more difficult. So sometimes you may not be able to change the situation, Rima. You may not be able to, for the things to get better. But what you can do, if you try to chant in mind, or tell your husband also, if he may accept to chant in mind, at least you will be able to remain in a more balanced state of mind. And that is important, because if tomorrow some decision needs to be done, then you may be able to do some better decisions. Because if we remain emotional, negative in our mind, then when more difficulty or decision needs to be done, then we may take even incorrect decisions. Especially because you have family members, it is important to keep the home in a balanced state of mind. No? So chanting can help to remain our mind stable, and we are able to remain stable now. The family can remain stable, and to remember also, Rima, that whatever happened is because of destiny. But by practicing spirituality, we can grow spiritually. It is not like I will practice spirituality so that my husband get a job again. Because whatever is going to happen will happen. Ultimately, if we practice spirituality, is to be able to achieve some peace of mind or some happiness or some stability, no? And ultimately, if we want to grow more, then we will experience spiritual emotion or bliss. That is a higher level. But ultimately, we should be happy, no? We should be able to experience happiness. For Meghna Potnis, you said, is it bad to avoid meeting people or ignore phone call as I feel it waste of time? Again, same thing, Meghna, it will, of course, it will depends, no? If sometimes you have to meet some people, let's say it depends how often you meet someone, or let's say completely isolated ourselves. It depends now, because I don't know your exact situations. But again, it will depends where actually to make this balance between sometimes necessity to meet others or the phone calls that are necessary. Or sometimes, example, let's say phone call, let's say my mother-in-law call or my mother call. So let's say I spoke to them, but usually I talk for 1 hour, or the person keep talking, no, and I just listen, half an hour, 1 hour. But here we can stop. We can reduce the conversation. Instead of saying no, I will not speak. We will after 20 minutes. I will say no, I'm busy now. But we will speak now. Either we make like I ignore the person, but that may not be the solution. But either we can say if the person call every day, no, then we can say okay, sorry, I cannot speak every day for 1 hour. Maybe I can speak to you once in 3 days for 20 minutes or something like that. Now we can see. Again, situation, everyone has to see as per your own situation, how you can see how to manage in a way time. Because as you say correctly, if you want to practice spirituality and to be able to do more spiritual practice, we have to see how to monitor some time or save some time. But at the same time, we live in a world now with others. Until unless when we want to realize God and we want to grow spiritually, then at that time it's different, no? Then we want to go in a place where we can practice spirituality, or we want to dedicate much more our time to spiritual practice. There was some other comment also from Shruti Kulkarni. You say it becomes difficult when family members are not like-minded and cannot talk openly to them, and then resentment increase, and then even under one roof I felt lonely because mind is not free of thoughts. Actually, Shruti is a good point that you say, and many seekers sometimes are experiencing something similar when actually the family member are not the same time of we can say like-minded, as you say, then we feel lonely. That's why we can say chanting God's name, taking auto-suggestions, or trying to speak with seekers. See, after that, what happened? No? Let's say you come to satsang, our online meeting, and you speak with seekers. At that time, when that feeling is fulfilled, that actually you are understood spiritually, or you can speak about your spiritual interest to others. At that time, we will accept that maybe at home they are not interested in spirituality. So that resentment will not be there anymore. We may not also, we may not, of course, not be happy because we would like to have interaction with them, but we will not have that resentment. Why? Because it gets fulfilled now with somebody else, or we can say by speaking and communicating with seekers. From Nakesh Dev, you said, people in my family have had excess ego and they get angry with me. If I tell them to stop bullying people, they know. So I don't speak with them anymore. See, Nakesh, again, here you can see, no? You feel maybe hurt by such type of situations that happen. But you can see at that time what you can do. Maybe, okay, may no need to say anything, no, at that time. If you have tried few times and nothing happened, at that time you can focus on yourself. So you can work in chanting God's name. And you can start to see whether because of that some anger got created inside, or some other type of feeling insecure or inferior because of situations that has happened. So if you work on it, then at that time, same thing, you may just be able to accept the situation better. And you may not speak to them, but you will not feel any resentment towards it. And sometimes what happens, no, is when you change yourself, then others sometimes notice that, oh, the person is better, and sometimes their behavior change because we have changed. But of course, we should not have any expectations. We should not do that so that others change. We should just do because I want to be happy. I want to grow spiritually. That should be the main drive. Sometimes say, oh, I will practice spirituality so that others also change. Or say, I will practice it so that my husband get job. Or because that will not help us, no, to make progress. But if we have desire, I want to grow spiritually, either I want to realize God or I want to be happy, then actually it helps us. The drive is more pure, we can say. Another comment from Bharat Jain. I'm sharing today experience. Today afternoon there were so much heat in the environment here. Suddenly my mind prayed to God to have rain here. I was surprised. There was that 1 hour it was raining. Okay, but it's a experience. We don't know whether it is a physical experience because the rainy season has started in India also, no? Or it is a spiritual experience. But it's okay. Ultimately, we should chant, no? More chanting is more important. If you will have say, you will have done that and it will have rain, and it was in April, May, then it will have maybe a spiritual experience, no? Because there is no raining season. Now in India, the raining season have started. From Jesper Elegard, I work from home all day alone. And having a picture, you have a picture of His Holiness Bhaktaraj Maharaj, that is actually the um, spiritual master or guru of the founder of SSRF, His Holiness Dr. Atavali. Just to share, His Holiness Bhaktaraj Maharaj was a saint from India. He renounced his body in 1995 and he used to teach spirituality by singing holy song. And you said, sorry, we are moving. And you said that it helped you a lot to avoid feeling lonely. Before you had a picture of him, I felt lonely a lot. Very nice that because of that it is helping you. See, because there is also in picture of saints, there are actually the God principle because they are at a very high spiritual level. So when we look at their photo, actually the uh, name, form, and energy coexist. Actually, we can get spiritual experience. When I'm talking about sense of higher level, as a time by looking at their photo, we may experience positivity because they are in a way at a very high level. So their photo, of course, there when you met them in presence, at that time we can have a lot of spiritual experience, um, such as losing body awareness, going into some spiritual emotions, or experiencing bliss, or experiencing love without any expectations. So the experience can be quite amazing when meeting a sense of higher level. But also their photos emanate divine consciousness, what we call also Chaitanya. From Shweta, there is a question from Shweta Mahalalkar. Sometimes it goes hard for me to accept situations which not going good. Then I feel so lonely and alone, and I don't want to talk with everyone. What should I do? Yeah. See, sometimes Shweta, no, as I shared before, whatever happened to us can happen because of destiny. So we can't change sometimes the situation. So try to accept. Sometimes working on acceptance help us to, in a way, able to let go of the past. Otherwise, we feel depressed, we feel negative, and we feel I don't want to talk about it. But ultimately, we should try to overcome. So sometimes, if you can speak to someone to express what is in your mind, or taking this auto-suggestion technique, or that particular situations that keep you in the past, and that will help you to, let's say, first see what happened. We keep things in our mind that we don't express. But when we speak, at least it comes out from our chest. That is actually a first step. But of course, taking this auto-suggestion will help us to get free from such type of situations. Because I would say I will not talk about it, I want to remain alone. It's actually closing self, and instead of helping, it's like aggravating the problem. So of course, sometimes situation may not be easy, but sometimes, okay, whom to talk to? That's why sometimes talking to a seekers, it may be easier. So of course you are always welcome. You can always contact us on our live chat. There is always, if sometimes it can be a female seeker also, if it is a specific situation, can speak to you. You have a question, Alexander. You said, does one feel lonely in the subtle plane above the 60% spiritual level? So just to explain, Alexander, is when somebody grows spiritually, especially reach the spiritual level of 60%, that means they have some good connection with God, as well as some good amount of spiritual emotion. So at that time, the person doesn't feel lonely anymore because there is this spiritual emotion or feeling that God is present, God is there. So usually at this level, the person usually don't have this feeling of loneliness. From Avani Chatre, you said a comment. Sometimes I feel I'm alone and no one is there for me. But then I try to think like God is there and I don't need anyone else. That's nice, Avani, that you sometimes feel alone. But see, when you think, no, but how many times you can think that God is there? But actually, if you chant God's name, it is as good as think. It is better than thinking, because when you repeat God's name, form, and energy coexist. So actually, God's presence is there, and you can chant anywhere, all the time, because God ultimately is everywhere. God is omniscience, omnipresent. So chanting can be done anywhere, anytime. And then you will not feel lonely. Why? Because if you chant most of the time, then you will always experience God's presence. But that's nice that Avenida just already by thinking that God is with me, you feel you don't need anybody else. So if you chant, then how much more you will feel. So dear Sika, just wanted to share that we will end the topic for today. And today is Wednesday, so of course Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday we also have the collective meditation, so you can join to our collective meditation if some of you are new to our live stream today. I encourage you, of course, to read the website. You can always ask questions on our login and live chat facilities. Feel free to ask any questions, or to, if you want to contact our seekers, you can also join our online meeting on Google Meet, where you have seekers coming from different parts of the world. So everyone is welcome. So the seeker, I hope you learned something. Try to put into practice, because ultimately when it comes to spiritual practice, we have to try to put into practice. Knowing is not enough. Doing is important. By doing, we will be able to experience something. If we want to, any field we want to do, whether it is any art, any sport, or any field, we have to do something. We go to school now, we study, we work hard, there is ups and downs. Even in sport also, there is ups and downs. Sometimes it's not easy. So it is similarly in spirituality or in spiritual field. If we want to grow spiritually, reading books in sofa is not enough. It will just give us intellectual knowledge. Practicing spirituality to change ourselves. Because if we practice spirituality, is what? Is reducing the five senses, mind and intellect on us. It is what is actually separating us from God. Why we are not able to experience God? Because God is in everyone, no? The soul principle. Because it is covered by our five senses, mind and intellect. In our day-to-day thoughts and intention is most of the time drawn towards the outside, what I should do, what I should eat, what I should buy, or work we do. We are not paying attention what is inside. We are not trying to change our attitude, our behaviors. That is spiritual practice. And that is practical, no? We have to study ourselves. We try to change ourselves. And then we are able to reduce this, how the five senses, mind and intellect, actually overpower our soul. And then slowly we start glimpses of spiritual experiences, of God presence within oneself or around me. And that is so overwhelming, so beautiful, that we feel something is there, that maybe some of you may have experienced something like that. And that become a driving force to put more into practice. So remember, spiritual practice is not just to read book, it's to put into practice. So dear seeker, wishing you a blissful evening or blissful day, and hope to see you further in our next live stream. Namaskar to everyone.